Hi all. So in today's video, we are going to see the demonstration of continuous integration and continuous delivery. We will be using the GitLab terminal, and for demonstration of continuous delivery, we'll be using a bucket and we'll create a static website on it. We'll also do environmental changes, and finally we'll run the pipeline. So these are the basic steps which we can see on the screen that we are going to do in this hands-on session. So let's get started. So first we go to our GitLab project and we create a new project. And here we can choose public and we can say create project. So this is the primary screen that we'll be able to see once we will be able to start the project. Now, when we have to code, we can use this button, and for editing, we will be using web ID, and it will start like this. Now, for any CI/CD project, we need to have a default file, which uh, has to be like this one. So let me create the same. So once this is created, it will read from this file by default. So for demonstration purpose, I have created a sample file for demonstration of continuous integration. This is a simple file which is having only two stages, build and test. So what we are going to do here in this, that we'll be using a simple Alpine image which runs the job inside the Alpine Linux container. And basically, we are doing some echo. Then we are going to build a directory and we are going to create a file here. Also, we are having artifacts here. These artifacts store file from this job so that the later job can access them. For example, if I want to access my file in the test stage, it can be accessed from here. So whatever details for various steps, I have mentioned it here, and we can understand by just going through these details. Now, once we are done, we'll have to commit them. Here we commit, and we'll be able to see that our project has run, and we'll be able to see that this is the current stage of our project here. Here we'll be able to see what is going on in the steps of this pipeline. So build is completed and test is in progress. So let's see what is going on in the test. So these are the various things that have happened. And similarly, we can see what has happened in the create file stages. So it goes into the Alpine and it checks out checks out the image, and it does various operations on it. It extracts it, and it is extracted in the build directory. Here also we can see that it tests various things, and it, if we want to do anything, like if you want to do some echo here, we can do the same. So this is the primary steps which we have done through CI/CD with help of GitLab. Now let's go to our project again. Now for demonstration of continuous deployment, what we need to do is we need to create a user and a bucket on AWS. And also we need to have a website. This website will be nothing but just an .md file, which will be converted to a simple static website when it will be deployed uh, uh, on the S3. So let us first create that. So I go here and we create a new file like this. Name this file as website.md, and these are the simple contents which we want to have here. When I'm committing the changes, so our changes are committed in my CI/CD project. Nextly, we are going to follow the step for creating a user. So we need to go on the AWS console. Here we can go to the IAM, and we'll be able to see that we want to create a user. We'll have to go the users link, and we create a user like this, and we can provide a username like my CICD user, and I will save this name somewhere. Now just we'll go with the defaults, and we'll create the user. Now with this my CICD user, we need to create one access key. So we'll choose, if you want to run with a compute service, so understand our recommendations and click next. You can skip this. So it will give us an access key. So here we have to note down the access key and access password. So basically this is username and password, we can say. Now what we have to do, we have to download the CSV file as well for future purposes. So this will be integrated with uh, GitLab properties in environment, which we'll be discussing in next steps. So once this is done, uh, next we have to create an S3 bucket. So we go to the buckets. Now we are creating a bucket. So we can provide a bucket name here, and then we should say we are allowing public access by this, and then we will directly go to disable this, and we'll create a bucket like this. So this is our UAT bucket. I've previously created a QA bucket, so it will look like this, and depending upon our requirement, like prod bucket, so we can do the same. Now in the bucket we go, and we need to do setting of various permissions. So we need to add some policies here. So from here we're going to add the policy. Let us also save the bucket ARN, that will be needed in future. So bucket ARN. So if you want to create a policy, we also have a policy generator here. Now let's go to the policy generator, and here we'll be able to see that we get S bucket policy. So first we'll create a statement like this. We'll be having principal as star. We'll be using Amazon S3 services. That is fine. Then here we'll be using get object. Here it is. And The ARN that we are going to use is like this. So it will be the ARN of the bucket plus we'll be using a slash and star. So based on this, we are going to copy this. Here. So we're going to add a statement. Now, second statement in principle, we are going to say that our user. So the user that we created was this one. And we want to see that it is available my CI/CD user. So we'll be using it like this. So this will be our principle, which we are going to add here. And the ARN is, we are going to use the same ARN. Once this is done, we also need to select or put object. So it's done. We add the statement. So now we're going to see generate the policy. So this is the policy that will be generated. Once we generate the policy here, we're going to put it here and we are going to save changes. So we have now done step. We have created the user. We're having the access key in our downloaded file. Then we have created the bucket with using principal ARN. Now we also created the website already. Now let's go to the next step, that is create environmental changes, which we need to do in our GitLab screen. So for that, we need to go here, and here we need to go to CI/CD. In variables, what we need to do, so we need to add some variables here. So these variables are nothing but the value that we got from uh, the corresponding user that we created. Since we downloaded it, we can directly go to the downloaded file and we can check that what kind of values we had. Downloads. This is the access key that I have. Which I need to add it here. Key that I'm going to use. And For the region, I'm going to use it as AP South 1. Default region will be AP South 1. So now we can see that we have 3 variables added, and this will help us to authenticate while our deployment is going to happen in the S3 bucket. So now the next step is we need to have an environment. So for that, what we need to do is we need to go to our CI/CD bucket list, and when once everything is finished, we'll be able to see. So this is our bucket, right? Properties. So we need to enable that, and we also need to mention, yes. So this is we are saving the changes now. So in the end, we are going to see one endpoint. Now this endpoint, we need to add it here in deploy in the operate in the environments. We need to add it here. So we'll first create an environment. So we say my GitLab environment, and we are going to provide the external URL here, and then we're going to save it. So once this is done, it means that this URL will be available to us uh, when we will when changes of my website will be deployed on the S3. So if you want to add some more details, we can do. But this is the external environment, external URL that we're going to hit. Now what we need to do is we need to add the code for pipeline changes. So let me do that. For the same, what I've done, I've created a CD demo, and I've added all the descriptions that is needed to do that. So let me go to pipeline again. Let's refresh that. So let me edit that in the web ID. Again, we are going to use the same Alpine image, which is the easiest and simplest image that we can do. Now, the bucket name that we have created is CI/CD bucket UAT. Let me check the name once again. I have written that here. CI/CD bucket UAT, CI/CD bucket UAT. That's correct. Then we are having 3 stages: build, test, deploy. Then it specifies that all jobs in the pipeline will are inside the lightweight Alpine Linux container. And latest basically means that the latest version of Alpine will be used for this. Similarly, we are having this render website stage. Now, basically, it installs a Markdown package, and then it creates a public directory. If it is not there, then we are going to uh, store. We are going to have index.html and in the public folder. Then be in the test website stage, we'll be adding a lim xml2 utils. Basically, it installs the util package which provides xml lint. And then we are validating the XML file to check if it's well formed. And finally, we are adding a dependency. It means basically that if render website works, then this step will work. Finally, the deploy stage where we are installing the AWS CLI tool inside the Alpine Linux container. And this is the directory which we are going to do. This is the basic syntax which we have to use. We will be copying whatever is in public to our S3 bucket. So our S3 bucket is this. We have added a variable with S3 bucket name like this CSV bucket UAT. And recursive means all the folders will be copied from public to bucket. And again, we have dependencies between this will work after render website functions correctly. Now let's try to see if this works. CD commit. Commit. We're going to see how it works. So this is our CI/CD project. Now it's in progress. So render website is in progress. So what it does, so it does a lot of steps, which we will be able to see in the logs. So it downloads the image and extracts it, and it has converted the website.md to a website, and it has downloaded artifacts, and the job has succeeded. Now let's refresh this one. Here we are going to see the test website. Means that basically the test step, what happened in the test step is that uh, it downloaded artifacts, then added the util which we mentioned in our file, and this is the general website that it has created. And final step is the deploy one. Means in the deploy stage it has deployed website our website to the S3 bucket, and it is success now. So in the initial stage we had one URL. So this is our URL on which our uh, deployment was supposed to happen. Now let's see what is here. So here we can see that the contents which we added in our file are here. Welcome to website, this website content. This is a static website which we have added. We can add more complex contents, and we can host files like that. So this is primarily our file, and which is available here. So we have deployed a static website, and we have completed the build, test, and deploy stage. So this basically helps us to understand how CI/CD works in GitLab. So these are the steps which we need to follow to understand demo of CI/CD with GitLab. So that's all for this video. Thanks.